friends, what's up? How are you? Thanks for stopping by for today's video. If you're new here, welcome. My name is Kat. As you can read by the title of my channel, I read romance novels and love to talk with you about them here on my channel. So if you scroll through my playlist and my channel section right down below there, you will see I have a whole bunch of videos. I've been doing my channel for almost 2 years now. So take a look at some of my other videos. I would love to hear if we've read some of the same books and your thoughts, whether you agreed with what I thought about the book, what your favorite parts are. I always welcome an open dialogue because, oh my gosh, it's like the best time to be a reader in this genre. The book we're going to talk about today is called Lilac by Reid. BB's been on my to-be read list for a little while now. I was excited when I saw the opportunity to sign up for Lilac, and holy smokes, like, I think I have the most highlights ever from this book. That being said, Lilac is, and I just checked, I just looked it up, 558 pages. It's enormous. And you know what? That's like my favorite thing, to start a book that I really like and am so into, and then it's that big. And I know it's gonna be such a full story, and that's exactly what Lilac was. Let me tell you, it took me like a week to get through it, which is kind of unheard of for me. But again, it was a nice long book, so I'm not surprised. But I usually can get through a book in probably 2 or 3 nights. I primarily read before I go to bed. It kind of helps me shut off the world and dive into that book world of the book that I'm reading. It helps me de-stress. Is that a word? De-stress? In any case, you know, it just helps me kind of relax and fall asleep, which sounds a little counterintuitive maybe, but you know what I'm saying. And I got so engrossed in this story that I was finding that I couldn't read it that fast because my mind was just working so hard on the story and the characters and how BB was unfolding all the layers for us and how the story was evolving, that I just found myself not reading it as fast as I normally do. That's another really good sign for me about how much I like the book. It's one thing to be invested, but oh my God, it was a whole other level for me with Lilac. As you can see when I put the book up here, it's a gorgeous cover, stunning really, and on the inside, she didn't disappoint either. I absolutely loved that the chapter headings had something to do with the character whose chapter that was. Those little touches don't go unnoticed by me. I enjoy seeing those things, and I do read on a Kindle, but let me tell you, Lilac is one of those books that I would like to own in paperback because it's just simply, I loved it that much, and I loved the whole package of the book. Lilac is about Braxton, Houston, Lauren, and Jericho. Braxton is a young woman. She is, I think, in her younger 20s, and a singer and a guitarist, and she gets kind of pitched, actually not even pitched, she gets kind of thrown into the band, the existing band named Bound, which Houston, Lauren, and Jericho are members of. The story begins with their lead singer dying of an overdose, and they're just about to start a new world tour, and they need to find someone lickety-split. Braxton happened to be in the right place at the right time, and she gets kind of pushed forward, and the record company is like, this is who it is, and you're just gonna deal with it. The guys are not happy about that. They don't necessarily want a girl, and there's a lot of tension going on with them, and you feel that literally from the get-go. This book is very tense, intense, and it really kind of goes with the story and the emotion of it all. So you know right from as the book starts that they don't want her. She's kind of like, this is my chance at stardom. They're a very successful, popular band, and Braxton's gonna take this opportunity, you know, by the horns and get everything she can from it. The guys are childhood friends. The member that died wasn't, you know, they kind of talk about him like he was an outlier. He never kind of infiltrated the three of them. They're super tight, but they're struggling in life at that moment. They're struggling with their friendships, kind of being within the band. Is the band going to break up? There's a lot going on with them. Braxton is a fan of theirs already, but she goes into it with her eyes open. She knows she has to earn their respect and earn her place in the band, and they are not going easy on her. They make it very difficult on her. This is what Braxton says about them shortly after their first meeting. Witnessing her uncertainty only assured me that I was doing the right thing. Houston, Lauren, and Jericho had been right. It was their delivery that sucked. I had no business breathing Bound's air, much less sharing a stage. I could predict each minute change in Houston's pitch, the pluck of Lauren's pick, and the pattern of Jericho's strikes, as if I'd choreographed them myself. It wasn't enough. I didn't know them. There was a reason they played so beautifully together. The answer was in the name they'd chosen. Houston, Lauren, and Jericho were bound, which meant I was trespassing on destiny. Something I absolutely loved is that we get a chapter literally from all four characters. And when I say a chapter, I don't mean like a page and a half. These are full perspectives that BB gives us from each of the characters. I loved that. The detail that we got about each of them, I mean, it was gorgeous and just made me connect, even though I couldn't be more different than any of the characters, obviously. It helped me get to know them on such a deep level. And I could tell, without even looking at the chapter heading, I could tell you each character's, like whose chapter I was reading without even looking at it. That's how well we got to know them and how much I was invested in them. And I loved that I was able to do that because it really spoke a lot to me about how much I loved this book and how invested I was. I really liked Braxton from the get-go. She was very different than me, but that being said, I loved her gumption. She was a spitfire, and it's funny, she talks about having like flaming red hair, and it suited her. She was beautiful, she was confident, she was smart, she was intelligent, which you know what I mean when there's a difference between being smart and intelligent. She was cunning. She did not suffer fools and did not let these men, boys sometimes, because they acted like boys, push her around. Gave as good as she got with them. She was fierce and I loved her. She's totally a rock star. In life, she's lived already and where she's come from, and honestly where she's going and where she goes in this book and everything that she deals with and comes through and learns about herself as this book evolves. She's from a super small town, very religious small town, but she cannot be reined in by this town. She is not going to be told, you know, have her parents basically tell her this is the life you're going to live and that's it. She's not having that. She's not made for that. And in kind of like rebelling from that, she is made to feel ashamed, dirty, not good enough. There's a really horrible situation that happens to her, and as soon as she turns 18, man, she is out of there. I want to share with you some of the little parts of the guys' personalities that really stuck out to me. I think I have like 150 highlights in this book, so I'm really trying to rein myself in the video because I could talk about it for hours probably, and I know there's so many people that feel the same way about it, so I'm excited and I would love to hear your thoughts if you've read it. This is what we get from Lauren to start with, and he's talking about Braxton. That ass, my God, that ass. I couldn't remember a time I beheld something so perky. I could feel Houston and Rich behind me, straining to get a peek. Now that Braxton wasn't looking, they didn't bother with pretending. They were interested, and so was I. Like an only child, I hogged the view. I never liked sharing anyway. This new toy of ours was effing magnificent, exciting, sexy, a menace. And then he goes on to say a little bit later, she told me to eat my heart out, and that's exactly what I'd done. Braxton looked like an angel, but she played like a demon, one not even Satan would dare cross. There was no way now that we wouldn't make her ours. She was bound. Lauren was your typical charismatic, super good looking, and he knows it guy that at first I wasn't sure if I liked, I'll be honest. He just was like that guy, you know, and he's the kind of guy that like you would love to get attention from because he has that twinkle in his eye and he would make you feel so good, but you knew it was going to be just that and he was going to be on to the next shiny thing like faster than you were finished, you know what I mean? So I wasn't sure about Lauren, and he broke my heart at one point in this book. He did something so terrible that really showed his true colors, where he was in life at that moment. And I'm not really giving anything away, I don't think, when I tell you that this is about 4 people finding love with each other. Technically, I guess it's considered a reverse harem, enemies to lovers story. So Lauren realizing, oh my God, like, holy smokes, Braxton knocks him off his feet. And then he's watching his 2 best friends kind of feel the same way. So complex, right? But Lauren did some really cute things as well. Like when he was texting her, he put her name in his phone as future GF, future girlfriend. But I didn't trust him as far as I could throw him. I loved Jericho, which they shortened to Rich in, or was it Rick? Because it's Jericho, Rick, but it's a CH. Huh, I just realized I don't know the difference. In my head, I was saying Rich. Okay, anyway, I loved him immediately. He is softer around the edges than Lauren and Houston are by far. He paid attention and was attentive, not only to Brax, but to his best friends as well. He seemed trustworthy to me, 100%. He was not afraid to share his feelings, but yet he had secrets that worried me. And he kind of turned out to be the biggest surprise, I'll just say. This book is very sexy. It's very sexy. So let's just gloss over that last comment and I'll share with you the things that I highlighted about Rich. Braxton refers to him as a perfect anchor, and that spoke volumes about his personality. This is from Jericho's perspective. She'll come out when she's ready. She'll come out when she realizes she's screwed like the rest of us. Yeah, but why did you have to F with her? I thought we agreed to make her one of us. We never agreed to like it or her. I like her. F me, what wasn't there to like? She was hot as hell, a rare gem of intelligence, kind. The icing on the cake was that she talked back when we weren't. I got hard just being in the same room with her, my friends too, though Houston liked to pretend while Lauren had no problem making his attraction known. He sees it all before everyone else even sees it and acknowledges it. And then there's Houston. Oh my gosh. He was such a jerk. Oh my gosh. Total, typical, domineering alpha. I say what goes. I'm the leader. You listen to me. Control freak of the band. He was in charge. It took a while for me to soften with him. And even then, I was questioning why Braxton was even giving him an inch. Their relationship was kind of hard for me, to be honest, until he won me over. Big surprise. I'm such a mush. I give everyone a chance. This scene was why I did not like him at all. Wrapping his hand around my neck from behind, he pulled me even closer before placing his lips in my ear. Whatever you think you know about me, I promise you I'm much worse. So are they. Lauren likes for people to think that what you see is what you get. He saves what's really lurking inside for special occasions. Rich, he's nice, isn't he? He does whatever I tell him to. I can see that desperate need for us to be close again in his eyes. He wants it so much that if I asked him to help me hide a body, he would, without question. Houston's arm locked around my waist when I jerked forward from shock. Was he implying what I thought he was implying? A horrific thing like that would surely bond us forever, wouldn't it? I tried to speak, but he gripped my jaw, shutting me up. It's simple, Bambi. Be a good girl. Do what we say, and you'll never have to find out what kind of man I really am. Releasing my neck, he spun me around, but kept his hands locked on my waist. Go home. Take the day. Think about if you really want to have this conversation again. Houston Morrow just threatened to murder me, and I wasn't quite sure whether I believed him or not. He is rough with her in a way that I was like, dude, what are you doing? Like, he scared me a bit. Books like Lilac are my favorite kinds of books because they're different. It pushes my boundaries as a reader to open my mind up to this type of story and have this type of story feel so real because of the storytelling of the author. BB really made me think about Braxton coming into this band and trying to prove herself, being attracted to 3 different men at the same time, who, by the way, are friends. I love reading stories that are about love and what love makes you do, how it makes you feel, what you're willing to do for it. And by the way, how do you find love with 3 different people at the same time? These men, their relationships with each other are complex. Now add in this female that they're all like sniffing around and she's totally unexpected, and they're like, okay, I call dibs. And it's like, well, but no, I want her and I want her. And she's speaking literally to all of them. They know that they will not sit back and let her pick one of them because they are jealous enough that that's the end of their friendship. If she picks one of them and they ride off into the sunset together, the other 2 can't watch that and won't be involved in it. The attraction is that deep and that thick. What's the alternative to that? I love that. And yes, it might not be real life. It's a story, but I eat all of that up. Complex relationships surrounding love, I just am a sucker for. I want all that. I want all the feelings. I want all the emotions. I want all the complexity. I know it hurts. I know it's beautiful. I want it all, and Lilac certainly had it all. There's a couple more parts I'd like to read that were really impactful for me. The first one is from Braxton's perspective. Between kisses, he finally whispered, "Be my girlfriend, Braxton Fawn." My head knew what to say. My heart was in my throat. I knew it was coming, and somehow I was still unprepared. I wanted to say yes. I felt it on my tongue, overwhelmed by green apples. All I had to do was shut my mind away and I'd be his. There was only one problem. He was asking too much. I couldn't pretend Lauren and Rich weren't chasing me too. I wanted them all equally, but I craved them for different reasons. Houston challenged me, Lauren worshipped me, and Rich made me feel like I was worthy of redemption. I didn't want to give that up. This tour would end, but the wreckage they will have left of my heart would be permanent. There was only one way I could survive, one way no one got hurt, and it was impossible, almost as hopeless as choosing. I sighed. I had 3 birds and only 1 stone to conquer them. And Houston, the mercurial rock god whose opinion of me swayed with the wind, was asking me to risk it all. Suddenly, the room became awash in the paralyzing scent of copper. Breaking his kiss, I looked into his eyes and swallowed a desire that wasn't sexual but still tasted the same. Give me a reason. Oh my God, you guys, like, just blown away. Absolutely blown away. Like, it makes me want to cry. Absolutely amazing. There's a really, really cool part to this book, and you kind of heard it a little bit in that passage, and I don't want to talk too much about it because I feel like, not that it's a spoiler, but it's part of Braxton that is so out of the box, which just kind of went with the way this story was. She has this really cool thing, and I've actually heard of it before, and BB writes it so freaking well in this book. And all I'm gonna say is Braxton has a sense of smell that has to do with her emotions and what she's feeling. That's all I'm gonna say. Find the spots in the book. Absolutely amazing. I was so excited to finally get to where the title comes in. I kept searching and searching and searching and kept waiting for it to pop up because I couldn't figure out where lilac came from. It's a color, it's a flower. The flower has a scent, obviously. And when I finally read the part where we know why the book is titled Lilac, I was a blubbering idiot. I was laying in bed crying. And I'm getting teary now about it because it's so beautiful. And I have to say that that was my little connection, extra little special connection with the book, because that's one of my favorite scents ever. It's actually why I chose to read the book, not only because I wanted to read BB and I got the opportunity to read this, but that it was titled Lilac. It's why I chose it. I have lilac bushes, which obviously you can't see, but on the other side of the camera is my backyard of my house, and there's lilac bushes that line the house right there. In the spring, when we have the windows open, it's just one of my favorite scents, and it reminds me of home. So I loved that part so much. And then I'll leave you with the very last part, which is at one point, Braxton refers to the guys as the bad boy, the vain princess, and the sad emo. I know because I read the book who is who. And although I do believe that BB wrote them as so much more than just those characteristics, it was spot on. And it was like, oh, yes, that's who they are. Let me know if you have read Lilac by BB Reid, or which of BB's other books you have read. I would love to get some recommendations on what I should read next of hers. As always, I put a link to the book down in the description box below, so you can click it and it will take you right to Amazon if you'd like to grab the book. While you're here, I would love for you to consider subscribing and give the video a thumbs up. When you do that, it not only helps my channel, but it will help this video get shown to more people here on YouTube. As always, I welcome you to come over to my social media and say hello to me over there, which is katreadsromance on Facebook and Instagram. I know this is a long one today, you guys, so thanks so much for sticking through. I'll see you soon.